We're on.
Live.
We're live. Welcome to the podcast. What would you like to talk about first, Mark?
Let's talk about the Capitol.
Okay, like when the Capitol got stormed?
Capitol riot. I think it was January 6th when they stormed the Capitol, right?
Yep.
Now, they say that it was insinuated by Trump, President Trump.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
No.
I believe that that's more of a media hoax than, you know what I mean, than actual facts. So, the people who stormed the Capitol building, Mike, who do you think that those people represented? Who do they represent?
I mean, I'm not really sure because I know there's also a such thing as other people, going in there like paid actors, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I know that happens.
Definitely.
There's a lot of staging going on.
What about them? I'm gonna call them the mice.
Okay.
What were the mice up to?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The sheeple.
Yeah.
What were they there for? Who do they represent?
Yeah. I don't know, man. They're just crazy people, you know. Some of them, definitely. I mean, they all.
So is this?
They're pissed off. I'm assuming, from what I understand, right, that they're pissed off that Trump didn't get reelected. But that doesn't mean that that's Trump's people. If that makes sense. I guess that's how I can see it that way too. You know.
Yeah.
Trump's like, hey, they may be thinking they're representing me, but they don't.
Is it a life of its own?
I mean, mass hysteria is a real thing, right?
Yeah. That's what happened. That's definitely what happened.
Yeah, we're gonna get into UFOs after this, but check this out. The example of mass hysteria, what I see with that. Remember, back in the 40s or 50s, a famous radio host. People would listen to him all the time because a lot of people didn't have television, and all of a sudden, he starts He tries to act as if a real alien invasion is actually happening, and it was like in Arizona or Oklahoma or somewhere out there, like on the farm woodlands.
Yeah.
And so people freaked out.
And it worked. Yeah,
it worked. And some people committed suicide. Some people ran out and were shooting out in the sky, and there was nothing out there.
I remember that.
So now, and that's just radio. So now you've got YouTube, you've got the cell phone, you got the internet, you got people that run the media and know how to hypnotize people through all of that because they're educated and know what to do with it. And they got the power to do it. So all of that creates all these different simulations and algorithms through the societies. And before you know it, you got up these uproars. And there's one of them right there. And it also goes down to what you were talking to me about before. Remember you were discussing me about, we didn't use the word, I don't think, but we were talking about overpopulation. You know another thing, because this could happen again.
So do you, when you say that, so do you believe that on this earth that we're on, right, that is, in my opinion, is a never-ending, always evolving, it's not going to stop, right?
Yeah.
So do you believe that we as a species, right, have gotten to a point where we are actually depleting this planet of its resources, or do you think that that's some bullshit?
It's an interesting question because
you think, I'll give you an instance, right? Like gold, right?
Okay.
Gold, diamonds, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're being made, just how this earth works, the heat, whatever, whatever happens, wherever they came from, do you think they're just going to always be made? And they're still being made now, and they didn't stop being made. They're like the mines they find, right? They act like those mines are the last mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is that mine that that's where the diamonds grow? Are they still growing down there?
There's still more of that. There's still more of that. Plus, two other avenues they have now. One is going into outer space. They say for sure right now with the amount of asteroids that there are, that there's enough gold and diamonds and jewels on those, and those are huge. And we have the asteroid belt. That's something that they're talking about with Space Force and NASA and other private avenues is mining in space.
So you think that
creating a
gold a universal value, a universal wealth, not just on Earth? Is it?
It'll probably be privatized, and then it'll probably be monitored by government. You know?
So do you think that, like, suppose, like, okay, there's other beings in space, right? Other planets, right? Do you think that gold, they have gold that's valuable? Like, do you think that's an international currency? Why is gold so valuable? Like, you know what I mean? Like, every country, every nation, every person, everybody knows that this solid gold,
bricks of gold.
If I get one of these, I got something. You know what I mean? Like, why is that agreed on? So, where did that come from? Why gold? Why not? Why couldn't it be something else?
And it's funny how, because the value of it is that, like, there's so many things you can do with it. Like, I guess medically, like, if you shave it all off, if you shave it, there's parts of gold that you can actually, it's edible.
They used to put it in a Goldschlager.
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
Back in the days, it was a drink called Goldschlager, and it said it had a little circle on it, or I'll look it up.
Yeah.
And it said that it had real gold chips in it. I don't think it does now, but I believe it did 20 years ago.
Wow.
Let's see. I wish I could speak to this thing. Right? Gold. That's what it is called. Well, there it goes. Bam.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another itself is very thin, and the slightest gust of wind is going to blow this stuff away. But we're going to attempt to weigh it up anyway at the end. So I hope you guys enjoy the video.
Alcohol, drink.
Alcohol with gold in it.
And they say, okay, and also, right, on top of that, you and me have gold in us, one of the elements. Copper. They say everything that's on that periodic chart. Remember that periodic chart they showed you in school? You had it in you. It's in the earth.
It's universal.
Yeah, you have that in you. If we're all part of this. That's what they say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that's in the ground and whatever is.
Everybody that watched me do all those different processing steps in the first video to make a solid chunk of gold.
Yeah. What you see is about to weigh it up, right? So, okay, with the gold, right? Let's talk about
the medical value of gold, huh?
Medical value of it.
I looked it up before. It was like there's a whole.
It's just like how they sell the copper tone stuff. You know how they got the copper tone socks and the copper tone. You see that it's supposed to relieve pain in your joints if you wear these certain socks and all that type of stuff. That's because it's supposedly bringing certain energies to you. You know.
Yeah.
What about the how the Egyptians with the gold?
Yeah.
How they had solid gold statues in Kushite, right? In the Kushite culture, they had the kids play with gold marbles. Like gold was so prevalent in that area or whatever, right? That they used it for pots and pans and at one time, and then once other countries or something discovered it or whatever that didn't have it, is it because the look of it? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Like what is it about gold that's like,
right?
If you know what I mean?
I understand that.
I want it.
Also,
like I went and looked at some gold today at the pawn shop. Yeah, 70% off.
Wow.
Only for Valentine's.
It's also needed for conductivity in cell phones and electronics and things like that, you know. So it also has the use needed in electronics.
Okay.
So it comes right back to square one. Like, how is it, to your question, which I love, like, how is it that these pharaohs and all these people, like, well, you know, here's an interesting thing about too. They had the pyramids. They had all of their belief systems all set up and everything. They were one with the stars and the planet and all that, and they certainly. And there were books that did survive, where it shows like the slaves would do yogas in the morning, and they were a society, and they had their own. I wouldn't call it a ghetto, but like basically they had their own society.
Same thing that goes on.
They woke up, left their cats at home, went to work, built pyramids, come back the next morning.
Okay.
And plus, plus alcohol was invented there, right? Alcohol. They were doing yoga in the morning. This is all the stuff that.
So you believe the narrative, right? That manual labor built the pyramids.
I'd say it's part of the recipe, but not in its entirety.
Okay.
I'm willing to believe that.
You think that
somehow
human beings, right,
helped out with that. Yeah.
Because if you think that human beings moved in blocks into those precise, within millimeter measurements, no cracks, no crevices, they were saying how these things were built. You think that men on their backs, was pulling and put that right there, and no, I don't believe that, man.
You know, have you ever seen the movie 10,000 BC? All right, so long story short, what I like about the movie, which kind of like comes to our point, which I believe there's extraterrestrials involved, there's some human labor involved, but they were also talking about if the pyramids were built, say like 10,000 BC, they're older than what they say they really are, because we're going on a date that was identified in like the 1700s. So how do so science is better than them. They could have been wrong, which a lot of people believe that anyways.
So
you know,
so just like how about this?
Real quick, part of it they're saying that because woolly mammoths did exist at the time of when the pyramids were being built or in their existence. Yeah. So it's possible, just like how a lot of other civilizations took elephants and raised them and used them for war and to drag things and whatnot. It's possibly a woolly mammoths and elephants brought them over. And they had that help as well.
Right. Something like, do you think,
which probably doesn't even work, right? Because we can't even do that with today's technology.
Right. How about,
so it probably wouldn't even work.
Do you think that? Okay, how you told me about the like the Aztecs moved,
gets deep.
The Aztecs. Remember you told me the Aztecs found those pyramids, right? Do you think that the Egyptians, maybe that happened there too? Maybe those people got wiped out at one time or something like that, and other people moved in there also, and that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Because they didn't tell us that history.
Yeah. They also
why would they tell us it over there?
There's also another part of the puzzle that we can insert into the South Africa and Egypt and the pyramids that were everywhere is that the city of Atlantis. The city of Atlantis was a story that came from Egypt, and the Greeks were huge into it. They teach it in the schools. Basically, what they say about the city of Atlantis, it was an island off near. It was either off. This is what they're saying. This is what they're teaching. It was off of Portugal, or it was off of Spain, or was anywhere between Portugal and Africa, because they're connected.
No, I know.
Portugal and Africa are like right here. They look at each other.
Yeah.
So they're thinking it's right over there somewhere. And what they're saying is that from that civilization is where like more information was lost about like the building of the pyramids, trade, and things like that. Not taking away from Africa.
You think it was a real underwater thing? You think it was buried underwater?
Well, the story of Atlantis is they're saying that the whole like a world catastrophe happened and the entire island sank. And what can be attested to that is that there are parts of like old Rome and parts of old civilizations of Japan that are literally underwater in the ocean.
The volcanoes.
Yeah, in the ocean. They're in the ocean right now, and they got divers going there, and they're finding all these pillars. They're all standing up as if they were living there, but it's all under the ocean. So it doesn't make the story like, hey, it's impossible, because these things have happened. Like world catastrophes can just shapeshift the entire world. And also, real quick, if you look at South America and Africa, they look like they were connected at one point. We're going back billions of years.
We're going through a world catastrophe right now.
Yeah.
Before Corona.
Yeah.
And after Corona, right?
Before BC, right?
BC, before Corona and after Corona. That's a world catastrophe, man.
AC.
Right now we're going through it, and it's almost, it's weird because they right now there's no real precautions going on. Like, I haven't heard the numbers are going down. I haven't heard, but now they're saying they're gonna get rid of the masks and all. So, like,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying here? Like, what happened? Is it going away?
Well, the corona,
is it getting better?
I would say the corona is kind of like 9/11, right? Where like once the security got settled in, once the money got in there, once the politics got comfortable,
what I hate, and I know.
Now
that's the part I hate,
like,
man.
Yeah, now the reality becomes.
That's what I hate. That's the part I hate.
That, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the Empire and the Vampire.
Trying to make you feel guilty about having common sense, man. You got to be guilty about having common sense, man.
But at the same time, they're also looking for another way to control society because once again we go right back to what we're talking about with population control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 6 feet away.
So when I talk with older people, right, and I ask people questions,
everyone's going to be nervous.
They
talks.
Tell you that when they were in school, Mike, right, they were taught lessons, right, and when they went to history class or whatever you called it when I was in class, you know, social studies. That's what they called it when I went to school. Social studies, right, U.S. history, right. The older people you talk to who are around 70 years old, they tell you that they were taught not to trust the government.
Yeah.
That the certain amendments were for the people against the government. Like your right to bear arms was so you could have arms in case the government. You see what I'm saying, yo?
Yeah.
And now it seems as if, right, like nobody knows anything about that type of stuff. Like they just trust in these presidents and these characters on TV and these politicians and they just these jokesters and everybody's just, you know what I'm saying? When the real deal is, right, that you don't trust these people. Like you're supposed to. We want our own. We want to be able to have our own rights. We want to be able to make our own decisions for our own children.
Yes.
And people are not. Yeah. They're falling right into the trap, yo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on, man? Like,
because that's the system we have in place, right? You know, you everyone is trying to get a president in there. The Irish did it, right? They pushed in Kennedy. It took a lot. It took a lot of different angles to get that man in there.
A lot of money.
And then after he pushed a lot and got assassinated. And then who else pushed? You know who else pushed against the government real hard at the presidency? The people forget all the time.
Anybody you do, what happens to them? Right?
Well, check this out.
Same ending, right?
Well, how about this one?
You pointed that out to me.
Yeah, check out this president. There's another one. His name is Ross Perot.
Oh, I remember Ross, the rich guy.
Look up Ross Perot, bro. Ross Perot had more money and has more money than Trump.
Yeah,
a lot more money. And he's from Texas, dude.
Billionaire.
And then he's like, yo, I'm gonna run for president. He bought the fucking commercials every day.
I remember
and he's showing the charts. This is where your money's going. Here's the charts where your money's gonna go, and this is what I'm gonna do for you. And he was doing, and they said that his numbers were up. He wasn't a politician. He's an American, like what you're talking, everything you're talking about. And guess what happens? His daughter got threatened, and he dropped out of the race. Said, "Screw it."
Game over.
You know what?
Game over.
And then
it's real.
Bush and Clinton got up in there, and then
because Bush came with his Bush came.
I'm a Texan too, boy.
You better believe
Bush.
You better believe it. Yeah.
You know,
he came with the bigger guns.
So him and Clinton went off. Clinton won.
That is funny.
Bush and Clinton were adversaries, but they were still friends, bro. And that's what I like about that.
All of them are friends, man.
So how is
left wing, right wing, same bird.
Here's my issue is like I get it, but how come they can do that, but the citizens can't? And that's where I look at like
they're elites. They're quote unquote elites, right? Let me tell you about elites, Mike. Right? My experience, right? As a youth, right?
Yes.
I went to school in Wellesley. Right?
Okay.
And I went to school with doctors' kids, lawyers' kids, politicians' kids, people who had diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like these kids are special kids as far as society goes.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from Dorchester. I'm shipped in a program called MECO, and now I go to school with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same classroom as these kids. I get to see how these kids operate and how they maneuver and how they look at life and how they get treated. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole different world. Like, people don't know, a lot of people don't know there's a thing they call themselves WASPs, White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Now, once I left that environment, once I left that environment, I never heard that term again.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like I don't even know what that really is. I just know that those kids, that's what a lot of those kids were. And those kids who called themselves that were treated different by the teachers, the principals. They got treated with a delicate hand, very special. You know what I'm saying? Because of who their parents were. You know what I mean? But I also seen this coming from that type of environment. I seen kids cuss at their parents and call their parents, and no consequences. You know what I mean? Like, they get away with murder too, man. So they never get told no. Man, it's a. Whew. There was a kid in one of my classes who had his own teacher. He had discipline problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had an assistant teacher, right? There was a teacher, there was an assistant teacher, and there was a teacher that was his assistant teacher.
Yeah.
And this lady sat with him every class. She walked with him from class to class, and she sat with this kid, and this was money.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying, yo? And made sure this kid went to class with the regular kids, you know what I'm saying, and got grades with the regular, and I was like, wow, man. It was, whew. I seen funds need to be raised, and I seen, one parent pay the whole, you know what I mean? Take the sign down, like, I got that.
Yeah, well.
As a kid, I noticed stuff like
school,
that. You know what I mean? Yeah, money, man, money. When I was in the 5th grade, we were dissecting animals.
Wow, so you went to pretty good school.
We all had the same. We all got our own little animal. Like, if we were dissecting a little frog.
Yeah, we never got any of that.
All 20 of us got a little frog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got and then you put it away, and the next day you come to class and you finish it.
Yeah.
That's money, man. And when I left that school system, I was shocked. I was in for a shock, you know what I mean?
So the Egyptians were into gold, right? So would you say that they were into alchemy? And alchemy being
alchemy is everything.
It's like all about like the transition of the gold, the silver, the copper, and all that.
To money. No, this is how I look at alchemy.
And he also understood spiritualism. Right?
Alchemy is like, I learned about alchemy from hip hop music. These kids taking this music that they made in their basement, and they're making millions of dollars. So they transform this substance into this substance.
Yeah.
So alchemy is anything like that.
The transition
of energy from anything to anything. If you want it, like if I have something, right, and I can transfer it to something else that I want, that's alchemy. You know what I mean? In all shapes and forms. I think like back in the days, it was like barter and trade. That was a form of alchemy. I'm digging these crops, I'm making this corn or whatever, and you're getting those furs or whatever,
right.
and I need these furs to do this and do that, and it's a type of magic. It's like, how does that happen? Like, that's nature. That's always gonna happen. Something I want, something you got, something I want, something you got. You know what I mean? With the insects, with everything. You got it, I'm going to take it because I need it to do this with it. You're going to get it from over there, I'm going to take it from you and do this with it. That's all alchemy, how I look at it. Almost like, not magic, but
look at how it all happens though, right?
Yeah,
it's
but
pretty
a
interesting.
form of magic, you know?
Yeah. And
the alchemist.
so I love the history of voodoo, in which
Haiti.
It was there. It's there.
Black History Month.
Voodoo was hardcore in Haiti, stemmed from Africa originally, which is also really badass because there's different forms of voodoo all through Africa that stem for centuries.
The only country that ever defeated like a major empire and held and kept their land.
Haiti.
You know? Haiti's the only place that ever did that.
Well, look up the date when that was.
Right.
But that was, that's
and
pretty.
Look how deep it goes, right? When I was a kid, right, in my neighborhood, right, when the Haitian kids would come from Haiti, right, we was taught to make fun of them, right? Yeah. We didn't know how smart these kids were, how strong these kids were, where these kids was coming from.
It's tough down there.
Yeah, they taught us to make fun of them and outcast them, so we wouldn't bond with them, Mike. You hear what I'm saying,
That's not good.
I know. It's a trick, man. It's a trick. You get tricked, man. Like the Haitian kids were so embarrassed to be Haitian when I was a kid that they would say they were Jamaican.
Yeah.
The Haitian kids would say, "I'm Jamaican," and then somebody would be like, "No, you're Haitian," and then they start making fun of them on some stupid shit like that. You know what I mean?
So the Haitian Revolution we're referring to happened in 1791. August 22nd.
I watched a documentary about a general, a lady general the other day, a Haitian general, who was the head of one of those armies that fought and won. You know what I'm saying? A woman.
So on one night after all the abuse of the slavery and everything, basically what it came down to that all the ones that the witch doctors that were there definitely believed in voodoo, and they all got together and they performed. They all performed magic that night. Did you know this? Mm-hmm. They all performed magic this night, and then right when the time was set, and then they started beating on the drums, and they kept the drums going, and then the other people, as that was happening, the rest of the people came out and they started, attacking, and spilling blood, and then all the slave owners got on their ships and they left, and then they became independent ever since. But then they had to keep going to war over it, and then their head leader, I forget what his name is. They have a statue of him there now because he ended up getting killed for the cause. He walked the path until it killed him, and then it won independence for his country in Haiti.
Those were some.
So voodoo has its place down there. And can I also add one more thing that's really cool in my opinion, is that their very first president ever elected in the Haitian government was a voodoo doctor.
Oh yeah. Okay, you see what's going on.
See what I mean?
You see what just happened in Haiti with the president there, how he was assassinated.
So what do you think that's all about?
This is what they're saying, right? First of all, he was anti-jab.
Oh. Yeah.
100%, right?
Damn.
A week or so after he was assassinated, right? Allegedly, right?
Yeah.
They shipped 200,000 jabs down there. Now, when they caught the guys who did it, Mike, right?
Yeah.
They caught the guys who did it, right? With different, what do you want to call them? Like mercenary type army guys from different countries. 2 guys from this country, 2 guys from this country, who teamed up together, basically paid. You see what I'm saying? To go in there and get this. It's on camera. They raiding his house on like it's they were knocking down his guards like they was like babies.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
they came to his house. These guys. It's on. You can watch it, man. Knocked him down and killed him like. They knew he was at a vulnerable situation. They knew what they was dealing with. They sent some real elite, you know what I'm saying? Warriors in there. Yeah, man, it's real. Because he was put in there by the people.
Yeah. Oh, he was a people's president.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen in this day and age. They putting who they want wherever they want them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somehow, some way, it's all set up in a way that with everything at its disposal. And then it all comes down to like, I don't know, everything else.
My cousin comes. So here comes Kiki, I mean. That's your cousin. Come on, let's stop it.
Yes, well, I told them not to talk.
No, we started when we go smoke and started again.
Breezy.
What's up, we're all set?
What's up, y'all?
That's my sister and my 2 nieces.
That's our family, the family.
Here's something I really want to ask you about. So we talked about voodoo rites in Africa. The ancient Egyptians were certainly into gods and goddesses and magic and spells and stuff like that. Like it's all through their history, even though they had science and everything else.
Everything's like that, man.
Yeah.
Everything is like the bread, the blood, the wine.
Yeah.
It's all
there.
all the same. Like, what's the difference?
Crazy.
What's the difference between the voodoo guy with a cup of blood and you drinking the blood of Christ, or
Because it's all connected to something deeper, you know. And that's what it comes down to. And here's another example I have for sure, is that when the rocket scientists all came about in Russia, Nazi Germany, and America. Right? When it first started out, they want to go into space, they wanted to go to the moon. Even though all three of them were separated from each other and didn't get along really, they kept secrets from each other, you know, whatever. At the exact same time, all those rocket scientists, they were all into witchcraft. They were all into taking the psychedelic, whatever, the mushroom. They going into the DMT stuff, the marijuana, and they would maybe a little alcohol added, and they go into the woods or they go to the desert.
yeah,
All that stuff. All of them did it at the same time, and they all were all saying, and they all wrote about it, and it's well documented. And they were all saying at the exact same time that all of this is helping them download information, and it helps them re-educate themselves.
Okay, so
Because they're getting this from a non-human entity.
All right, bam, you said that right.
Yeah.
All right, you said it like that, right, Mike? So these
Isn't it coming
guys,
back with
these guys in this modern age, right, are taking these psychedelics, or taking whatever they're taking, right,
Yes.
to tap into another realm, right?
Yes, sir.
So look at this. I watched a video one time.
Mother
right?
Nature's gift.
I watched a video one time, right, of a village of these people in the Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And they had this, and this was their culture, right?
Yeah.
There was grandma, grandpa, kids. It was probably about 40 people, young, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, all ages, right? They're sitting around, they dressed in their little garb, whatever they live, whatever, right? And they got these big long pipes, Mike, right?
Yeah.
And they it's not weed. I don't know what the fuck.
Are you talking about like the ayahuasca or something like that?
I don't know what they put in this shit, right? But they take one puff,
Yeah.
and then they gone. You hear what I'm saying? Right? So when you say tapping into stuff, right? Like, just think about, I think about ancient civilizations, right? How they got all these sculptures, all these pyramids, all that. I feel like those people were using stuff like that to tap into something way beyond, and they got people scared today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To tap into that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And the best. Like, I watched this thing about
I
scientists.
agree with you on that.
Right,
Yes.
about marijuana, right? I watched this thing about these scientists, right? And the scientist said he smokes a certain marijuana, right, before he looks into this microscope, because it gives him this clarity. You see what I'm saying? So he can look into this thing and look at this little thing for hours.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, that's his little thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched another thing and this I ain't saying this is good, I ain't saying this is bad, but this is a college professor, and I don't know if he still works, but he was an open heroin addict.
Okay.
But he did it on his own. Like, he came to school professional, but he said when he went home, that was his thing, man. You know what I'm saying? He tapped into his realm or whatever he did. Whatever.
You had two guys that were fantastic.
Really?
Hi, y'all.
Please make sure that I get.
Two guys that were fantastic that way, right? Then we got Kurt Cobain, and then there's Jimi Hendrix. They were into that, right?
I don't know that much about Jimi Hendrix, but I did look into a lot about Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing interviews with Kurt Cobain where
He was definitely on that side, right?
hardcore,
He
right?
wrote about it.
But he was doing concerts. He would do concerts, right? And he would give all the money to, like, charities. And he would get in his little Scooby-Doo van, and they would go drive to the next state or whatever, right? And I seen he was on TV one time in an interview, and he was dirty, man. See what I'm saying? You like his hair was dirty, his nails was dirty.
He's a heroin junkie.
He was dirty, dude. Like he's a millionaire, man. He's on TV, dirty, interviewing. Like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Hardcore. That's
they were all like that.
That's real deal, man. That's a different type of. You know what I mean? Like I just made
dirty concert.
I just did a concert for made $300,000 and I don't care nothing about it. As long as my sack's in the van.
See,
you know what I'm saying? Like
we know too that heroin is like a garbage drug, anyways. I mean, in my opinion, it gives that little insight, but like all the ruin that comes with it.
All right, cool.
You know.
All right, we out of here.
oh, you're taking my baby.
Taking your baby.
Good luck. Look, I see looking. See, I see look on me.
Yeah, right now.
Keep an eye.
Yep.
Because I was watching something on Facebook.
I do, and I
Oh my
gotta
gosh.
be, I have to be certified for it every year, so.
Oh.
For my job, yeah.
Heimlich maneuver. Bye, mamas. Look, I see looking. Oh, shoot. That's the first time leaving.
He's fine.
All right. Remember, okay, so back. Remember when you were talking about? Okay, we're talking about the trade between ancient Egypt to South America. There's also the story out of Egypt that people like to talk about, which I really enjoyed, to the city of Atlantis. How about this? There was another one where the Smithsonian came out with a newspaper in the 1940s, where they said that a guy who was working for the Smithsonian came. He was out there, you know, with a boat, and he came across a cavern. Goes in the cavern, finds stuff that's allegedly from ancient Egypt.
Okay.
And then they did a paper about it. It was in the news, and then like the next day the Smithsonian came and said, "Oh, it wasn't true. It's nothing there or anything." But there was I know there's more to the story than that, but it made a big hype, and people were like, okay, so why would you even report it? It was, you know.
Yeah, listen, like
because there was a lot of people that went down there, I guess, with
just
this
like
guy.
Recently with what's up with the recent UFO? What's up with the UFOs on the news recently? All of a sudden, the last 4 or 5 years, they've been talking about there's UFO, and they were on the news before. Everybody who said, "Oh, I saw UFO," they say they're crazy, they're just conspiracy, they're just making up stuff, they're just something else they seen in their eyes, yada. Now it's on the news now. Now they're saying on the news now there's UFOs. When we've always known that there's something called UFOs, whatever. But I think UFOs are sitting somewhere in a cave with our government just flying shit over to fuck people's minds up in case like that story they told you happened or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The aliens are attacking, that's how they can bring people together. That's what I said, the only way, like you said, the only way they can bring people together is mass hysteria, some type of major fear. And what's more fear than something coming out the sky?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They tried it with 9/11, I'm telling you. 9/11, that shit worked, man.
You know what's interesting about aliens? Well, okay, so what about ancient Egypt? Remember those things you were showing me, the hieroglyphs where it looked like a helicopter and like a hovercraft and like one looked like a submarine.
That's what it was. It didn't look like that. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it is. It ain't look like that. You know.
So we know some really interesting history must have happened way back in the past. Who knows what the number is attached to it? You know.
Hell yeah.
And then it dissolved itself somehow and hit it. You know, more likely than war. And can I add this real quick? A lot of ancient cities from out of the country of India, they have a lot of like just like China, all those old scrolls, all the information, and they have them on display in some museums with on these scrolls. They're talking about, they had a name for it, I forget what they call them, but they're saying there were these ships, basically these things in the sky. And there'd be other ones in the sky, and then there'd be fire in the sky, and they would land, they would crash, and
how about
they're burning on the ground. So it's like they're talking about aircraft.
How about the like the Nation of Islam with the mothership? They believe in the mothership.
Do they? I never knew that part.
They believe in the mothership, right? And I'm gonna tell you honestly, right? Once I came across that part, I was kind of like,
the MS mothership.
You understand what I'm saying? Jeez. Like at that age I was at, I was kind of like, oh, you talking about spaceships and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go this way with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look into something else. But now at this age, like man, who knows what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. All the Star Trek, like I look back at the old movies and like you said, the cell phones and how everything connects and.
How is it? I mean, talk about aliens, right? And I know, okay, it's like they talk about like how we treat animals. Now, what is the alien to us? You know what I'm saying? From that perspective, because it's like they always say like there's that.
You see people, you might know people who treat their girlfriend like that or their boyfriend like that.
So
you know what I'm saying? In a real fucked up way, like.
Okay, so the country of Iran wrote a paper, and in the paper they wrote that their journalists were believed that when the Nazis were doing all that and all that they said that and obviously it's more than likely this more than just it's probably just propaganda, but they said that the Nazis and the U.S. were getting help by tall white space aliens with flying saucers and all that. And what it was, the agenda was to ignite the world into a world war on purpose in order to follow it up with a new world economy, because if you study history, like even Genghis Khan, like anything that gets roughed off that way, if they decide to do that to Ukraine, like you rough it off like that, what comes after that is usually a brand new civilization every time.
And what
it is
all the movies,
horrible thing
all the alien movies, right? That came out as a kid, right? Whether they were silly or not, right? They were all about some aliens coming down here and tearing shit up.
Yeah.
Moving into your neighborhood.
To move in their agenda,
always
not
came
our
into
agenda.
And it always was a nice little neighborhoods where they come and attacking the, you know what I'm saying? You know, that was the propaganda, the programming in case, like, I think they were really gonna try that, but I think they were like, nah, we can't do that. The people ain't that stupid. You know what I mean? Or it was too deep for them to get into. Like, they would have to just keep it going and going. You know what I mean? Like, I think it might have been too much, but I really think, how you said, that was really maybe some type of plan at one point in time to get people to really think that we were under some type of alien invasion so they could really lock people in, man. You know, just like we locked in now. Or they try to lock us in now.
Yeah.
Just different ways and different times.
Like the guy that was involved in that started that. See what I mean? The reverse in here, the artificial intelligence it's angel. I don't know what that's right. Angel Satan, S-A. I don't know. But anyways, I know that this got that started. So basically what I'm saying is that
do you think
it connects to what they're.
Have you ever seen the conspiracies that NASA is just like Disney?
What do you mean?
It's like a fake type of they're not even really the ones that go into space and all that type of shit. They're just a propaganda organization. Like the real people, like all that shit's really hidden. NASA's just a Disney version for us to see on TV and shit.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's like there could be like some hush, deep, real big boy stuff going on where they're going out of space all the time, probably hitting the moon.
Yeah, and NASA's just
the rest of the rest of the world is just like NASA. You don't get to know.
Yeah, NASA. This is all you get.
I like that. I like that.
Smoke and you know what I mean. A little show. The launch is at 5, and you know what I'm saying. A little feel good shit. But I think that they really up there, really doing shit. Really got just like I watched a thing about how many underground cities were built in this country. Like this whole like they built whole, like when they were panicking with this nuclear stuff and stuff, they built whole underground cities where there's bus routes and train routes and highways and everything. Right underground into some of these major cities, there's whole worlds underground, man, that are running, and I don't know if they're using them or it didn't happen, but they did panic and they did build these things, yo.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, yo? So in case something happened where they had to go underground, the buses are running, the trains are running. You know what I'm saying? There's apartments. There's man. Listen.
Yeah.
In China, they have cities built, right? I seen this thing where they got a whole city built, right, Mike? It's all these apartment complexes, it's street signs, the lights, everything set up, right?
Yeah.
And there's not one person that lives there yet. And it's probably could be like this place could have 200,000 people in it. Yeah. And there's not one person there yet. Right. It's just sitting there. And like it's crazy. I don't know what was planned or what was going on or what was about to happen, but they're there. You can Google it. Like they got these empty cities,
They got those in China too.
That's what I'm
Whole
talking about.
Entire
That's
China,
what I'm talking
a
about.
whole entire city
they
made
built
with
them.
nobody in it.
Nobody in it yet, yo.
Yeah.
What's that for? Who
That's
is
playing.
that for? Is that a jail? Like, is that a prison city or
Without
something?
telling you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we move you in. If we move you in here, yeah, come on, move in here. You never leave. Only 100 feet that way, 100 feet that way.
What do you think about the Roswell incident? 1947, the Roswell incident is basically
that's the alien thing, right?
In New Mexico, a UFO. The report is a UFO crashed. There were 4 bodies. There was an alien still alive.
One lived. Yeah.
11 people that were.
I seen the movie. That creeped me out.
Yeah,
too.
but the real history is 11 people, eyewitnesses that lived there, that are from there, all attested to the exact same story.
Yeah.
Everything, and then they all also said, the military told me not to say anything.
I know.
The military told me not to say anything. I'm telling you, I saw aliens. Oh my God.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the
Because
same thing with that Behold the Pale White Horse book.
I want to get to that one real quick.
He wrote that in the same book. He's seen aliens.
Remember we were talking about? Remember we were talking about the Grand Canyon when the paper first came out, that there was those Egyptian artifacts, and then it came with the second paper saying bullshit.
It was bullshit.
Same thing happened with Roswell. The first paper came out, said there's aliens and everyone, and then the second one came out next day. No, there isn't, and it's a weather balloon.
You can watch you can watch videos if you could ever find them, right? That when 9/11 happened, where they're saying the news reporters are saying the buildings were blown up.
Where's that?
You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about?
Like on 9/11,
Yeah,
early reports, right?
What are you talking about?
You can watch news reporters like they're like
talking about Tower 7?
They're first on the scene. They're like the tower was blown up.
Yeah.
Nothing about no airplanes yet.
I saw that.
And then all of those are gone.
Yeah.
And then now it's the airplanes. The airplanes blew the towers, but before that it was the towers blew up, yo.
Wow.
That's how quick they got rid of that. Boom, boom, boom. Shut that down. Boom, 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 boom. Cover that up. Boom, boom. New story. Bam. Whoever's seen it. Ain't enough people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We're gonna change that narrative real quick. You see movies where they do that type of stuff. They change the whole narrative. Somebody does something, they're like, "Oh, we got it. Boom, boom. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. You did this. You were here. This happened. Boom, boom. Don't say nothing. We got it." You know what I'm saying? The new truth. The truth can change, man.
Yeah.
Got enough money. Like I watched a little documentary, and I keep telling you, I wish I could find it, Mike, where it's probably about 3 hours long, where they went through the whole. The video starts with the whole Queen Elizabeth talking about how it was all Egyptian, and it goes all the way to. It stops at 9/11. That's the end of the video. The 9/11 stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it shows.
But what's up with Queen Elizabeth and ancient Egyptians?
When she comes in, right, when she walks to a certain place, right, there's these little steps, right.
Yeah, I love the Queen.
Right, it's these little, it's like a little stepping stool that she steps up onto the thing, right.
Yeah.
But it's a pyramid.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she's walking up the pyramid, and you can see, and then she holds the thing that she holds.
Dang.
You see what I'm saying? It's all symbolic, man.
Yeah, it is.
And you can show Egyptian pictures on where they're doing the same thing. The statues. She's copying one of the statues with the helmet. It's awesome. You know what I mean? But they got their own new little twist to it. But they still holding on to that because that has some type of power with it or something.
I know how that works. If you
it's like, okay, let me see one more thing.
Yeah.
How come all cultures say amen?
Amen.
Amen. That's amen.
Yeah. Amen.
That's the Pharaoh.
Yeah. Because
You know what I'm saying? All cultures say that. That's the universal. Amen. All cultures say that.
They believe that royalty is connected to Pharaoh blood, and all that, because of when the Romans and the Greeks went in there and conquered. They married in,
and it is.
They had babies,
and you're right because
and then afterwards, check this out. How deep it is now. In history, the Romans, they went into Great Britain and Germania. Mm-hmm. I forget what Great Britain was called at the time. They went to Germania. They called it Gaul or something like that. And then there was another country in Great Britain, and they called them all barbarians. And like if you had blonde hair and blue eyes, they enslaved you right away. They shaved all the blonde hair off and they sold it. I'm not even joking, dude. They had like the worst history with Romans. Romans were like
I promise you,
Romans were European too, but they were like melanated. They were a different part of Europe. So they went up there and slaved all of them. Then they built a new Rome in Great Britain, and then they built a huge wall. One side was for civilization, and the other side was for the barbarians, and that's what they called it. And then from that, those genetics go all the way into Great Britain, and then
that's okay. That's like okay. I feel
because
like
when Rome fell,
Rome never fell.
Well, it didn't fall because the families never died out.
We live in Rome.
That's why real quick, the queens of England, the queens that were in Germania, in Russia, in Scandinavia, Switzerland, all related. They're all related. They're all cousins. And they're all ruling all these different countries. It narrates right into everything. So they kind of like evolved.
Okay, so when
it's weird,
just think of like when I watched the Game of Thrones, right? These families, right?
Hybrids.
Back then, there were only so many of these families, Mike. That owned everything, all the land. So many families own all the land.
Yeah.
But this family owns all this land from this country. So they didn't just disappear. They didn't just give that power up to these politicians. You kidding me?
No, they still run everything.
They still run everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who are they?
Yeah.
And I got to see something, right? When Trump was elected, right? This is what I got to see, right? Trump was going to have meetings, right, with people who ruled countries that I never seen people go and have personal meetings with. Like, for instance, right, I seen him go, I don't know what country it was. I don't know if it was like Finland or Sweden or Dutch or someplace weird, right? Where this guy he came with a kilt. He had a kilt on. He had like a green sweater, like a collar shirt. And this is how you met Trump. Trump was in his suit. But this is how this guy dressed.
Yeah.
And I never seen anything like that. But that's their culture, whatever. He's the leader over there.
Yeah.
And Trump was hanging with these guys.
In England?
I don't know where this guy was from, Mike. But it blew my mind how he was dressed.
Wow.
He had a skirt on, as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had a sweater, like a green sweater, and he had a white shirt under the sweater. He had a red beard. He had a hat, like a flat hat. It was a real, you know what I'm saying? It was if I can find it on my phone, it was a real weird attire. But when he met with Trump, this is how he was dressed in the traditional country, whatever. And I'm like, man, I never seen Trump deal with anybody. Like, I never seen our presidents speaking. It was always somebody from Russia or the normal countries that we know. But Trump went to these other places that I'd never seen before. That's where he was getting his money from.
Yeah.
Poland, Sweden, Norway. You know what I'm saying? He's over there in those countries over there that the normal politicians over here don't deal with. They don't go over there, and they probably do, but we don't get to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I know that those countries are like preserved countries, yo. Yeah. They preserve in certain places, man, and certain people. You know what I'm saying?
They keep it together.
They keep it on lock, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing funny coming up here. Ain't no drugs. Ain't no crime. Ain't no. It's peaceful here. Like the crime rate is like 0%, and you know everybody work. Like I watched this thing where the people at lunchtime, everybody stops and they get like 2-3 hours off of work during the day to go home with their family and their kids and eat and relax, whatever. Then they go back to work for the other half of their day or something. And that's how they run it there. Yeah. Because it keeps people sane, and you know what I'm saying? Like in this country, just work. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to run you into the ground over here because it's all a corporation. It ain't nothing about no people, no doing good, no feeling good. It's just, you know. Yeah. Mine. When I was a kid, that's what Trump was all about. Mine. I got all the money. Yeah. You know, and he became the president.
I mean, like, there was like a lot of emperors in the past that did that. Like, hey, check this out. There was like I was watching this thing on these emperors of ancient China, and like there was written history like generation by generation, they would literally on purpose starve out a lot of their own people on purpose for the sake of control, cooperation,
fear.
Yeah, same exact thing.
If I don't do that, then I'll be with them.
It's the same screwed up thing that North Korea is doing right now. Where it's like, oh, I don't have enough. Like, how do you not have enough right now? Especially, but But that's another story where China offers them food and they always say no.
Nobody.
But,
Have you ever heard of a war on poverty?
well, check this out.
Imagine
So
if they put a war on poverty, Mike.
yeah,
How much crime that would stop? How much?
there's a lot of good stuff
You know
going
what I
on out
mean?
there nowadays compared to back in the day. Like right now,
War on
I know.
drugs is a never-ending. The war on. Let me tell you about these.
Okay, I just want to finish up. Can I finish up the story real quick? The China. So like the what happened was that in ancient China, there was emperors that were starving out the people on purpose for control factors, and then what ended up happening was a lady. She was a I forget what you call it, but she was one of his sex girls basically.
Okay.
And she was knowledgeable and she understood like everything he was doing, and then she learned how to read and everything. He educated her and she figured it all out. And once she figured it out, she had him killed.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. And then
okay.
took control. Then she took control.
Women.
Yo, dude.
I want to get into women.
And then guess what she did, dude? She fed everybody. She was like, okay, we're gonna start construct. We're gonna put basically like an infrastructure bill. She wrote out. They were like, we're gonna grade more over
Can't
here.
you feed people?
They still have they still have like the caverns where they kept all the rice to survive the winters.
They feed pigs in this country before they feed people, man. Stores give the food to pigs before they give it to the
homeless people. Yeah.
And I saw this thing in other countries where they have like the restaurants allow, right? The government bought these machines, right?
Yeah.
That where the restaurants can bring their food outside, right? And it's in a warm little thing, and anybody can come there, Mike, and get a plate. It's in there warm.
Where's this?
It's in like I don't know, one of them countries like that. You know what I'm saying? Where the homeless people, like I seen the one where they plant fruit trees on the street.
Yeah. Instead
of planting just regular dumb trees, they got fruit. They got apples and oranges and grapes and plums and everything growing. So you just instead of planting a regular tree, you know what I'm saying? Why not plant an apple tree or an orange tree if it grows in that environment? It's like, what's going on here, man? They don't want to take care of the people, man. You know what I'm saying? They want minions, I call them. You know what I mean? Workers. They you go to school to become a worker. They teach you to listen, to behave, to follow the rules, go to the bathroom, come back, eat lunch, come back, do this, come back, sit back down, do what you're told. You know what I'm saying? That's the programming, man. The average person, that's what you do. You go and you get a job and you follow the same type. And if you step out of that, you looked at it as crazy. You know what I'm saying? You step out of that little mold. Like, oh shit. What else you got?
Oh yeah, that's right. So the word America, right? So it was supposed to be named after an Italian. That's one thing we heard. And then there's also, if you break down America, Eric. And remember Eric the Red?
The Viking.
Eric the Red, the Viking, red hair, blue eyes, white skin, like the flag. Like the flag can be looked at. That was one weird way I looked at it from their perspective. Was like Eric the Red, red, white, blue, eyes, skin, and hair. And then you can also look at it another way. It's pretty. That's pretty deep, right? I saw that.
That's deep.
I know
that's deep. I just thought about that. Yeah, he said that.
And then you also, at the same tone, look at it is blood, sweat, and tears. Because that's us.
I always think about that.
Yeah. Because that's what it really is. But at the same time, at that perspective, and his perspective, like this country is a living source of itself. And then America was already called that before they even came over here. By the Native Americans, land of the plum serpent is what it actually means. And they were all into snake worship and all that stuff, and lizards and dragons. And what did the people, the Italians do when they came over here? They abolished what they could of it, and they literally on a lot of pyramids in Mexico, they would destroy them and put a church on top of it. Because they deem it Satanism right away.
But they're using the energy though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, of course they are. That's
and there's also one pyramid in Mexico that is probably the biggest one there ever was,
graves,
and that one was destroyed with a church on top of it.
There's so many things built over graves in this country that are known. There's so many buildings built like that you said that, man. You know what I'm saying? And they using that, like you said, they're using that energy, man.
Yeah, dude. Deep into that spiritual
get that money
knowledge of the nature and how it all comes together.
Imagine knowing that.
What can I do that how can I serve?
How do you
me?
learn that? You think you have to it costs to learn that?
It
You have money.
It takes.
Because I know. I'm gonna tell you this. When I look at like this books, right? Like somebody will say, "Hey, you should go look at this book, whatever. This might cost $600."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You like I can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't PDF it. You can't look at it on the internet. What's in that book?
There was a book that came out a while back called, it was called the Jesus and the Sacred Mushroom. And basically what it came down to was talking about Jesus and people like him from the past, or even Buddha. You can talk about where they were all into heavy psychedelics. Okay. They were all into trance meditation, meditating, and being one with Mother Nature. And then coming out of that, and with the energy that comes with it, is positivity to everybody else. And then from them, those people that don't get the energy he does, they got to feel what he has, and then they're passing it on to someone else.
Yeah.
And it's like a mirror ripple effect. Whether if
is it strong enough to keep going though?
Yeah,
like, I know what you're saying. Like he lets it out.
I mean,
and then
they've even made movies on it called Paying It Forward, right? Where like I'll tell you what, man, I even had a lady at work today, right? She was an older lady. She said she works at another place opposite of us, and she says, you know something? Because I'm nice to everybody, man.
Of course, I know you
so
are.
are you.
Because
that's not because I get it. Because I know what it's like to be treated like crap.
Yeah.
And I don't want to treat anyone like crap.
Exactly.
So
she
told me, she's like, you know, it was really nice, and that makes me feel. You just made my day. It's like, see, that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Ta-da!
And she might do that to somebody else.
Exactly, and it spreads.
But if you were mean to her, she might go to the register and be mean to the lady at the register. Then be mean to the guy asking for a receipt. You see what I'm saying? You're like,
positive energy versus negative energy.
Yeah. But also, do you believe? I believe that there are just dark beings around us that just don't have that. That will never have that, and you just have to either separate from them or recognize them and move around them. But there are people who
nature
never
sorts that out eventually, right?
Yeah,
the universe corrects itself. It's like its birth.
That's true, man.
These days, you know, at least in the society that we live in, you know, that's, you know,
we're old school. We didn't have cell phones as kids, man.
Yeah, man.
So we have a different type of.
But now that all that's
here, it wasn't given to us. We had to think as kids. Now it's given to you. What's given to you to think is already put in there. It's already like, yeah, take this, all day long. Just imagine the stuff. Just imagine we had a couple channels on TV. They got 2,000 channels.
Yeah.
Everything, anything they want to watch, pornos, weird this, that. You can watch somebody cook crack. You can watch somebody do this, play the piano. You can watch anything you want to watch on it. You know, it's crazy too. Like I watched this video about this guy in Colombia, right? Who he's like a homeless guy who lives in the woods in Colombia, right? And the cocaine trees is just growing all around them, right?
My, yeah.
And he's showing you how he makes the fucking coke, but he can't. It's worth nothing to him.
Yeah.
Cause
he's there.
He's just there, yo. You see what I'm saying? He's just stuck there, yo.
That's his habitat.
That's worth 25 cents.
That's funny.
I was like, wow. But imagine if you could meet him or you could get him a man, dude. I was like, that's crazy, dude. He was taking the leaves off the trees, grinding them up in a little mortar and pestle thing, putting a little whatever in it, and he's like, look. And ain't nothing popping.
Wow.
He can make that all day, yo, and still can't feed his family. You know what I'm saying? But over here, he'd be a millionaire.
So that's what I'm saying.
He'd be a millionaire in America.
Being in a society that functional works, because we got everything.
Yeah.
Food can come here, go on a laptop, do the YouTube. If I get there's a hospital down there if I need it for anything.
The connection between all the worlds is what works, man.
Yeah.
You, and it's like this, for instance, right? Like how in the hood, right? The black people who do good move out of the hood. They move out of the neighborhood. Mm. You know what I mean? Like and that brings the neighborhood down because the good people are leaving. They're all leaving. They're leaving the you know what I mean? But the people who are there need help from those people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You leave. So it's fucked up. And I didn't see that in a lot of other cultures. When I was in Georgia, I seen those Mexicans work together so tight knit, so man, like ants, Mike. Man, they wasn't playing around, man. They're gonna get this. You're gonna do this. You do this. You do this. Your job, my job, your job. No complaints. Boom, 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 boom. We doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never seen it like that in my life, man. Until I was around them, I was like, wow, they really cooperate. They really work together to get like. They ain't all asking for much. They ain't greedy. He ain't being greedy. He ain't trying to be the boss. She ain't trying to be the boss. You know, they're working as a unit, man. And they take care of each other's kids and. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, man. Like, why can't everybody do that, man? Because they don't have to. So they have to.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, yo? And once they become Americanized or Westernized, yo, that'll probably all fall apart.
Yeah.
Be like, oh no, this is mine. You go get your own little spot.
That happens sometimes in societies. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you let it go, the whole thing just collapses.
It snowballs. Everything happens like that. Once you get to a certain point. It's like, I can't live with, like, I don't want to live with another man. Like, when I was in Georgia, like, there would be 13 guys in the apartment, man. They would, like, they worked this shift. They was like, they was all there together. Like, the living room would be like a community. It was a, instead of a couch being there was a washing machine here. And a dryer here. And a fridge here. And a counter over there. And you come in there and there was some cots. You know what I mean? And they come in there, they take a shower, they can take a nap, whatever, while they doing this. But it was like, they ran it like that, Mike. You know what I'm saying? They turn an apartment like that, just like this, a small apartment, into a community center, man. One of them have a license. He drive everybody to work. They all pay him $25 a day or something. It's 13 of them.
Damn.
I get $25 for you, pick you up and take you to work. I get $25 from you. I make $300 a day. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's not like that. Bam, and they pay $25, $50 of rent. You know what I mean? You put 50, you put 50, you put 50.
I'm like 21 years old, 20 years old, and trying to hurry the hell out of life, I guess. But
you know what I mean? Yeah. That's the cooperation that it takes, man. That I don't.
Right? Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You can't really do stuff like, say you have a business idea, right? You need help, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna need somebody to be here while you're here doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta have people you can trust. That's the hardest thing about having a business, is finding employees that you don't have to watch.
Good luck with that. Yeah,
that's the hardest thing about having a business. That when you ain't watching them, they doing what they supposed to do. You know, it's like,
I know what you mean, man. It's just
that's tough, man. You know,
all of it.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have family, man. Like a family business, because if you know, like I went to school in Canton with this. He was a Chinese kid. His name was, I don't want to say his name was Mike something, right?
Yeah.
And Mike something, I didn't know this at the time, right? We used to tease this kid. He was a big, heavy Chinese, like a Samoan man, big kid, Mike. You know what I mean? A big Chinese kid. And his parents owned these fancy seafood restaurants in Massachusetts, right? Like 3 or 4 of them, right? Big. His parents didn't even speak English. So who you think was running these restaurants? Mike was running these restaurants, man. He didn't give a fuck about school. You understand what I'm saying? He got money. They making millions, Mike. Once he graduates, his parents just want him to graduate because it's America. And we're in America, and they, you know what I'm saying? They don't even speak English, but they want him to graduate because they're in America now. He don't give 2 shits about school.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But the money, because he's making money, though.
That's what happens.
And he knows that's what it's all about, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're making $1 million,
most of the billionaires, a lot of the billionaires didn't even complete college.
80% of, this is a fact, 80% of the people who went to college work for the 20% that didn't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's how that shit works, because it's imagination. You gotta have imagination to have a business. You gotta be creative to have a business. You gotta have, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta get up and think. Both my parents are business owners, man. My mom worked. Like, that's why I respect my mom so much. My mom's own hair salon. My mom was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and coming home at 7 o'clock at night. She's taking the grates, opening up the grates.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? In the morning, man. Turning on the lights. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was her. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody come in. You know what I'm saying? Then when everybody leaves, she's closing that grate, making sure the alarm's on. You know what I'm saying? This is hers. This is all day and night, man. So there was a lot of time that she wasn't there. Like, I spent with my grandmother, but I knew what my mother was doing. So I respected it, you know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of kids who have parents who work, or they be mad at their parents. They're like, oh, you didn't spend no time with me.
Yeah.
But you got everything you want. I got everything I wanted. I got every, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's see how much time we got left. Doesn't even say. Is that an hour, 9 minutes? That's freaking good.
We've been going for a minute, man.
Yeah. All right, some more things I'd like to cover real quick, because I don't know if it's time out on. So they found 2,000-year-old mummies in China, right? That are Caucasian. And then when they had like these hats and they had herbs and stuff like that, marijuana and everything. Then they found these little coins with swastikas on them.
Because they was travelers. They was traveling.
Well, they're in China.
They came from somewhere else, and something might have happened to them there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know, like they might have got killed there, or they might have got have violated, or you see what I'm saying? You know, something happened to them. But if you go, you'll find people anywhere.
But perfectly preserved too. Beautiful. I was like, wow.
And they don't know how to do that now.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do that to this day,
Yeah.
man. You see what I'm saying? When they bury people, why wouldn't they do that to people now?
What do you think is up with all the there's Chinese
Make me a mummy.
There's these huge mound pyramids in China. There's a bunch of them, and in the middle of all of them is an emperor. And they won't let anyone go in there to look inside to see what else is in there and stuff like that. It's like it's off limits by the government of the Chinese government, and there's no telling the hell that is
What do you think it is?
I mean, it goes into, it's probably just like what they're saying, because there's history to it where they enslaved other Chinese, where they would they knew alchemy too, and one way they would enslave them was they would make, like, imagine like this upside down T, right? And they would bang it around their waist and then bang them down forward, so that they would just be like moving around like this, so they could take the sack, like that was their life. They would take the sack of mud and they'd move it from here to there and there, and they just built this huge mud pyramid. But they're humongous, dude. They're no joke.
I know. I seen something recently about that, Mike, where there was these guys that they somewhere in some third world country, right? And they go into the water, Mike, right? And they just grab these freaking scoops or whatever. It's somewhere where this water has some type of coal or mine or some type of mineral that's worth pennies or something over here. You know what I mean? But it's worth, to them it's worth pennies. But like, this guy has said he's been doing this for 30-something years, dude. Yeah. And if you see him, they just go in the water, Mike. They walk, grab this sack, like you said, and they just walk up somewhere and dump it and go through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he did this for 30-something years.
Wow.
Dude. You see what I'm saying, yeah? Oh, you see what I pulled up on this, right?
Yes, there were indeed blacks in ancient China. The skeletal remains from southern China are predominantly Negroid.
What's that mean?
It means exactly what China's been saying. Is that they're saying, like, this is what I've been told, is, again, China, they say that the more south you go in China, the more black it gets. And the more northern you go, the more the European looking it gets.
But you see how you never see that from China. You think America's racist?
I know.
You never heard that from China, bro. You see that in northern China, the blacks founded many civilizations. In China, you never hear that from them, dude. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
China has a real racist
wiped out, because they got the ability to wipe shit out, and if you say something about it, they'll kill you.
China,
you see what I'm saying?
Did you see that, like, during the pandemic in China, their McDonald's weren't there was a McDonald's where they were not letting black people in because they thought the black people were spreading.
They put them out of
Corona.
They put them out of their apartments.
Yeah, they were kicking them all out of their apartments.
Put them out of their apartments.
They're like from Africa and everything, living in China, and saying, "Hey, you can't live in here anymore." Like, why? Because Corona and you're spreading. It's like, doesn't even make any sense. You guys are just being like,
look at these motherfuckers, man. They're my color, dude. See that, dude?
Yeah.
See that motherfucker, dude? You see that? They hid that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's everywhere. It's all kinds of motherfuckers everywhere. Yeah. They don't want you to think. You never hear no Chinese shit about that or see them on TV. They're over there right now. Yeah. They still live over there. Wow. But you ain't never seen them on TV. Yeah. When you ever seen a black Chinese motherfucker from China on TV? Never. You don't think they exist? Yeah. They exist, dude. You know what I'm saying to you? You see how deep that is? They're in Korea. They're in Vietnam. They're everywhere, man. Like, it's like, bam, you know what I'm saying? But they don't want you to know that for some reason, man. That's something that's the hidden. Look at these pictures, man. Look at on the walls, the ancient walls, the pictures they got written.
Oh, nice, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
They got
that's
those.
That's from China.
China, that's badass.
Dark, man.
Yeah.
See how she looks?
Yeah.
She's my color though.
So they recorded everything. A lot of people came into China, like a lot of people, different, blacks from Africa. That's beautiful, man.
You see their hair?
Yeah.
Their braids and shit, man. Like, not all of them. He got regular straight hair. You see the same way he got the. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
But I don't know what they was going through.
Yeah.
And then you look and you see the kids. You see how the kids is like. You see that? See how the family's just like over here. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Same thing. They try to erase that because there's that when they put that racial shit into play.
Yeah.
They didn't want that to be known. That messes up that narrative. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't now. Let's get rid of all of that and let's just say that they was never with each other and they're dangerous and they're this and these new people gonna think that that's how it is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From here on out, and now it's coming where that everybody find out that's bullshit. But they got so much money and so much power that they're still holding on to it. The ones that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to let it go. Just like I said, I'm like, nah. I'm not letting my shit go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's
listen,
funny,
listen.
This is mine.
I was like, shit. I don't know what y'all over there doing, but listen, my checks is coming, man.
So Indiana Jones is coming out with a new movie. And Harrison Ford, he's playing at age 79.
Give somebody else a chance, man.
Well, he wanted it.
Give somebody else.
He did it.
Let somebody else play the character, Harrison.
It's gonna be based on the Nazis, and they're gonna. It takes place of when World War II ended, and then it skips to the landing on the moon. World War II.
The same. So all his movies was connected with something like that, man. Like that would be something to go back, like as an adult, to go back and watch the old Indiana movies. Yeah. Pay attention to the statues, to the stuff that they in there, the clothing, the headgear. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? What they wear on their heads, and guys is chasing them. Yeah. What were they? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Who were they? And all that type of stuff. Like, that's the type of stuff I'd like to go back and look. You see what I'm saying? Like, what was really going on? Like, it ain't just a funny little Chinese kid who's with him. Funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was he? Yeah. Like, how you know the you see what I'm saying? You're like, how you know the way? How you know the way through the tunnels, man? Yeah. What you doing over here? Like, I like watch. That's how I watch stuff for different stuff when I get older, man. Like, let me study this. Somebody get a little pen and paper and write down this stuff and see what really going on. What were they showing me as a kid? You know? The E.T. movie. Remember the E.T. movie? How great was that? That was great.
They said that
that was great to me. As a kid, I just remember that being great. Like, just an exciting time when I seen it. Like, I was excited when I seen it. I was amazed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember that
Steven Spielberg said he wanted E.T. to be a vegetable. That's what he was actually supposed to be. That's why he could heal plants and all that. So he wasn't. So allegedly, he wasn't meat. He was a vegetable. Without being in the soil. Yeah. Yo.
Look at these. Look at their hair, Mike. Look at their hair, yo. Yeah. You see that hair? Look at that shit, yo. Yeah. You see that shit? Yeah, that's straight. Wow. Where are they from?
I'm ready for the winter time.
Straight dreads. Straight dreadlocks.
Yeah. That's wild.
It is, man. That's just wild. It is wild. And you can put that. You can put like Ireland. You can type the same thing with Ireland, ancient Black Irish, and you can see pictures of it. You know what I'm saying? And they're the small Aborigine-looking people. You see what I'm saying? It was there because they was on that island. Was it because they was on that island? Like Australia's an island. You know, it's a you know what I'm saying? Like. They got the resources. They eat the same shit. That's just how they are. You know. Who knows? I don't know. Those pictures always my favorite.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, nice.
Soldiers.
Yeah. So what made the difference in civilization? Probably guns. Well, the invention of guns like really made a huge difference.
That came from China.
You know,
gunpowder, right? That's what
well,
they
the
say.
Chinese came up with gunpowder, but the European came up with a gun.
Yeah, that was shit.
Came up with a gun, was like, this is it.
Yeah, once you don't have to, especially once they was able to shoot multiple times, man. Boom, 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 you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when they was doing the one, and they had the stuff in you, they was getting picked off. Still back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dudes was in the woods them arrows like, gotcha. You could shoot 2-3 arrows by the time you stuffed that damn thing back in there, man. But once they was able to just go boom, 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 oh yeah. I better run. Leave your whole village. We got 20 of us and there's 200 of y'all. Y'all better leave your village. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, are we coming back?
I mean, right. So you're right about the ancient Egyptian symbology. I mean, it's everywhere. It's in Washington D.C.
Oh, heavy.
D.C. The D and the C, those are Roman numeral numbers too, which stands for the number 60. Okay. And of course, they like the number 6. You know what I mean? 6 feet away and all that stuff. You know what I mean? 6 feet under. How about Lee Harvey Oswald was on the 6th floor when he shot JFK? You know?
Yeah.
You know, Saturn being the 6th planet. You know, Saturn. You know what I mean? It's all the way the whole mindset.
Grandma.
Wow. Yeah.
That's just mind blowing. Yeah.
So, but we live. But the thing, the great part about this country, man, is that everyone's in it. You know what I mean?
It's always been like that,
Yeah.
Mike. That's the trick. I feel like the mind fuck, man, is that it was all just like how you see they found those guys that you were just talking about in another country. People were always traveling and meeting people from other countries and like I like this girl from this country and I have kids and stay here, and that didn't never stop, man. Like that wasn't illegal.
Right.
Like it became illegal. They made it illegal.
Black plagues and things
they
like
made,
that.
Listen. They didn't have passports.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a passport to go to another country. You just go on a boat.
Yeah.
Go. You hope you make it through the storms and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, once you get there, it was good for you. Hopefully it's good, man. You know what I'm saying? And you can get back, and if it's good, you can tell your people, come on. You know what I mean? But there wasn't all these regulations and all these separations and all these, you know what I mean? That's all modern stuff, dude, that they use to control people and separate people. You know what I'm saying? They divide you, say, oh, you can't come here, you can't come here, or you can't cross this imaginary line without this piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are you kidding me? Oh, shit. That's like this guy I knows who it's a group of people they go to Africa, right? And they don't get vaccinated for some reason. They use their religious reasons to get, and they're like, we don't have to get vaccinated because these are our people too. That's how they feel. And they don't get sick or nothing.
Yeah.
You see them? So they're saying that shit's just some bullshit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You're trying to scare you, like, if you don't get this shot, you understand what I'm saying? You're gonna die, whatever. Like, man, listen, nah, I don't want that shit. That shit might be the shit that's making me die.
I like Rand Paul's perspective. It's clean and clear. It's like he caught the virus. Don't need the shot after the fact because the antibodies are already there. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then there's that. But on the other hand,
that's how real science works. That's how it's supposed to work. A vaccine. So if it doesn't do that, if you get the virus and you get tested positive for corona, and then you go to your doctor after you healed or whatever, and they test your blood should have the antigens for that virus to say that your body fought that shit off. And if it's not in there, right, then you need to be like, well, what's going on, doc?
at the same time, children who are hardly even affected by the virus in the sense of death, right? They're all
0%.
right.
Few,
but they're all getting like 3-4 different types of vaccinations, anyways, with a with an extra booster shot and the extra
protein and the protein shake.
Yeah, give them a protein shake with it. You know what I mean? Like the fuck you shot, and then they give them the FU shot, and then like years later, hopefully their IQ don't drop. Hopefully they're able to have
messed up.
They can have kids of their own. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know what the long term effect is to all this money.
Because people don't believe what you just said. People think that that's impossible. People think that you just said is impossible. The government would never do that. Yeah. Our government would never do that.
The FDA, well, you know what?
Kidding me?
The FDA has it on the record that they did try and they did lie about OxyContin when it first came out, right?
That's recent.
You know, and that was within our lifetime.
How many people did that kill?
Yeah.
2 million. That was a response. They just they saying on record.
So yeah. So
how many people did it affect? How many families did it affect? How many lives did it destroy? How many kids' lives did it destroy? You know what I'm saying?
So you and I already know that just because they approved it, that doesn't mean that it's okay.
No.
There could be something seriously wrong. And the turds are the shit is so deep that we don't know what's really going on. You know, it could be. You know,
FDA is
Trump said, "Hey, China, trying to dump us a virus." Trump gets the virus, right?
Just right in time.
He's the only president. Am I wrong to say he's the only president that caught the virus?
He took the chloroquine too. Remember he said he took
did?
Remember he said he took the 7-thing cocktail?
Yeah.
Remember Trump had the 7. He said he took all of them, Mike. He said,
"Oh man,
he made him a 7-something cocktail, yo." And he came back like 3 days later, like, "I'm back."
Oh my god.
Like a straight propaganda shit, yo.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, no, I got. He said. Then he said, when it gets warmer, it's gonna go away. Remember he said that once the weather changes. He said, "Oh yeah, once the summer comes or summer, either winter or summer, it's gonna kill it. It'll be gone. I don't have to worry about it." Yeah, I said, "Yeah."
It's like this: lockdown, everybody lockdown.
We wouldn't. I don't even think this shit would be around if Trump was president.
Probably wouldn't have mattered either way, bro.
I think he would have went to China, where that shit was from, like they said, and made the motherfuckers give us some answers.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing, Mike, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't with them. Trump ain't with them, right? He don't get his money from them, Mike.
Yeah.
He get his money from. I got my money already. I don't need that motherfucking money. I got plenty of money. My kids are still running my billion-dollar businesses. You see what I'm saying? You ain't paying no taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say what the fuck I want to say, and who's my sponsor?
Yeah.
I'm my sponsor. Biden needs sponsors, man. You know what I mean? Biden ain't got no billions, and if he do, he ain't supposed to have them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If he do got money like that, he ain't supposed to have it. You know what I mean? He's supposed to get whatever you got paid as a senator, motherfucker, plus your bill. But I know a kid who's a senator. His grandfather was a senator.
Hey, thanks for being on. Thanks for us.
That was a nice long one too. I'm over here yawning. I gotta take a.
See ya.
That's